Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first lesson of our first unit in the year 2021. Welcome to sixth grade science. I'm your host, Mr. Power, and we will have a short video for lesson 1.1 of thermal energy for two reasons. One, it's a great review to all of the students who've had me for the first two quarters of the year. And we have several new students who are joining us who need this information because it's necessary to maximize their use of the resources. So we'll have a review on what resources are available and where to find them and how to use them. So let's begin. Number one, if you can get into Schoology, then you can find all of your science resources. So let's start there. I'll start by typing in schoology.d49.org. And from there, we can, if I hit return, go to our login page. The login page would look like this if I logged out. It says, you're not logged in. So you'll want to sign in, and you may need to put in your d49.org email address, which would be your student number, and your passcode. This brings me into Gmail, but also, it did bring me to Gmail. Allows me to come here and sign in under Schoology. Now, as you sign in to Schoology, this may be the first time you do so. So it will find, if you've logged in to your Chromebook, it should find your email address at d49.org. I have other accounts, and so this makes sure I connect to your accounts, like your Schoology accounts and your Amplify accounts. So find your science class. Let's go to second period science. As we open up second period science, we'll see I have a virtual classroom that has some things that link and some things that don't link. Well, here is a way to get to Amplify. This is the logo for Amplify, just like we have a logo up here for PowerSchool. PowerSchool is where you would find the grades you've made from the work that you've done. Underneath the virtual classroom is a list of all of our resources, including those from past months. Previous quarters can be found in these folders. Our most current playlist, which is our agenda and what it is we're doing for this week, can be found outside of a folder on this top page of materials. Also, there is a link to get to Amplify Science here. So the first thing I want to do is to open up the playlist, and this should be everyone's first thing in Schoology, at least as far as science goes. This is what we're doing from January 7th through the 15th. Well, we've already had 2 of these days come and go. The first day, which is below our roadmap, was just to check in and say Happy New Year. Friday was a flex schedule, and we just pretty much checked in because we receive assignments 4 days out of the week. So, no new assignments last week, but we do start Monday with this assignment, lesson 1.1. We'll continue on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. Now, what will we be doing? We're in a new unit called thermal energy. So we go back to the top You know you're in the right place when the date matches the time period that you find yourself in. This is the work you want to take care of before we get to the 15th. If you take care of this and check it off of your to-do list, then you have caught up and probably have an A+ in my class. Let's find out as the weeks pass. Happy New Year, everyone. We're starting a new unit, Thermal Energy, and we start with Chapter 1. This is me, if we haven't met, and I'm calling out, shut the door, you'll let the heat out. Well, that's a big idea of the theme of this unit. Here is a link to my Zoom class along with a link to Amplify. So not only in the playlist do you have links here to get to my Zoom class for each day's plan of the day, but also to get to Amplify for the week's work that we do. So we have an assignment starting today to go to Amplify, find thermal energy, and do lesson 1.1. Here are the two links again. So to get to my Zoom class, this is a great link to utilize. To do so from here is a link to get to my Zoom science class. Also a link to get to Amplify Science. So once we've been through the playlist, we've had our plan of the day, it's time to get busy. Lesson 1.1, we need to go here for Amplify Science. As we open up, I want to show that I'm already logged in. So the one thing I want to do is log out. If I log out, I come back to this login page, and I get to this login page by going to learning.amplify.com. That was the link you hit when you clicked here, or you clicked here. All of these take you to that same window. Looks like this. So let's use one of these windows. Log in with Clever. Clever will ask, are you in D49? I think I may already be past that. But logging in with Clever is the important thing to do. Now, as we pull down our menu here, we're in this class, science class. At this point in time, we don't have other subjects that use this platform called Amplify. But all of the science classes do use this platform. So it's good to know it. Now that you know this, there may be some things that you have forgotten about, or this may be the first time you've seen this demonstration. But in this pull-down menu, we have some tools. A very important one for all of you, plus the one I spend most of my time in, I have a tool called Classwork. You have one called, instead of Classwork, it's called My Work. And it is your portfolio. Make sure you do click on the portfolio and make sure that you have all of these lit. If we check all of these, we'll see progress that hasn't been completed. We'll see things that haven't been started and things that have already been handed in. And I just want to thank Isabella for allowing me to share this little demonstration to all of the students who are new this quarter. And for those of you who haven't used this as a tool, this is from last quarter, Traits in Reproduction, the 3rd chapter. And as you can see, each one of these activities has been scored. There is a date stamp and and a time as to when the activity was completed. And if there were comments here, like this one in particular, we can see what those comments are. So, as Isabella was doing this particular homework, she didn't score the maximum number. And so this particular comment indicates that it was incomplete. So had she read this comment, she could have come back in, answered these questions, resubmitted, let me know, and I could have changed this. So this particular platform right here, called under the tools here, this particular tool keeps you in touch with how well are you doing. Are you scoring all the points you could score? Well, each daily assignment is worth 10 points. And as we take a look at Lesson 5 of Chapter 3 in Traits and Reproduction, you could see there were 4 parts. There was a 2 points, a 3-point activity, a 3-point activity, and a 2-point activity. Well, if we add these 4 numbers together, that comes up to 10 points. And so this is where your 10 points come from that end up in your Power School scores. So if we went to our Power School, and took a look at that, you would find, thank you, Isabella, by checking in here, you would find these scores would be the scores that came from Amplify. So thank you, Isabella, and well done to have a B in science class. That was a fine job, especially when it was almost entirely remote learning. So well done, Isabella, and thank you again for letting me share. This is Power School, and that is, for new students, a super important place to go. This lets you know how you're doing, not only in science, but in all of your classes. So back to this was a tool that we found in the pull-down menu. I also want to share that this is where you can find all of the articles that we have read so far and that we will be reading in this unit. In addition to that, you see that we have a new simulation model, computer model that is for thermal energy. And it matches, more or less, the logo that we can find right here. These molecules of different colors representing different amounts of energy that are being held by those molecules. Now, all of our units are here in the very beginning of Amplify Science. So if you're just joining us this quarter, we have completed all of microbiome, metabolism, traits and reproduction. That's what we were able to accomplish in the first 2 quarters of this year. And this quarter, we will tackle thermal energy and then ocean, atmosphere, and climate. And as you can see, this logo, you can see there is a relationship between the oceans, the atmosphere, and our climate, and the sun. We'll continue with our last quarter of the year studying weather patterns and Earth's changing climate. So, fascinating subject matters between now and the end of 6th grade. This is where we find our work for the day. We have 4 chapters, and we'll begin with Chapter 1. Our very first lesson is Lesson 1.1, and this is a pre-unit assessment. If we go back to our playlist, you can see that we are looking at Chapter 1, the first lesson. Now, the first lesson is a pre-unit assessment, and that is, what do you already know about thermal energy? Here are all of the key concepts that we will be learning about thermal energy, And this makes a great resource throughout the entire unit. In fact, it's there for the entire unit. All of the future playlists will also have that roadmap for this unit. As we take a look at Monday, you'll see the instructions here are this is a pre-unit assessment. Its purpose is to find out what you already know about thermal energy. It is worth only 10 points, and it's scored based on completion and not whether you get the answers correct or not. Okay? This lets you know how much you already know, and it lets you know how much you will be learning in this unit. So let's begin. We're here in the curriculum, and you see this lesson has 3 main activities. The first one is a set of multiple choice questions. Some of these multiple choice questions are complex, and you can see that the question may be just a few sentences, 2 or 3 sentences with easy answers. But you can also see that some of these have quite complex ones. So you will be learning quite a bit of information. And when you start to see numbers like this means that there will be some math involved. Now, this math is not complicated at all. In fact, it's simple multiplication. For instance, if you take a look at this inner carbon layer, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that each are worth 50. Well, up here you have 9 things that are each worth 90. So which one is the most? You see, that's how difficult mathematically this unit will be. A simple multiplication. 9 times 90 would be 810. Well, what is 9 times 50? Pretty simple, right? As you answer these and hit the next button, what you'll start to see is that the questions will start to sound very familiar, and the answer choices will become almost identical. Now, those of you who have done 3 of these units so far have found that 2 of these units, the ones where we have done these pre-unit assessments, have had pre-unit assessments and something called critical junctures that have been models of the final unit assessment. This is an example of how the final unit assessment will look. Now, this question is very, very similar to this question. The answers are short, they're easy to read, and the question choices, or the answers here, are very similar to each other. So, once you get through all 16 of these, make sure you hit the hand in button. Come back in, open this, and give it your best shot. There is a question here. A chef needs to increase the temperature of a food dish. She thinks she can do this by stacking another dish on top of it. She has 3 dishes to choose from for the top dish. Okay? So, put your best ideas forward, and let's find out what you already know. If you already know this, there are opportunities for you to move ahead, to accelerate, to do some work that's different. So give it your best shot, but don't give it too much time because, as you know, there will be a new lesson tomorrow. If I click here back to Chapter 1, you see this is Tuesday's lesson, this is Wednesday's lesson, and this will be Thursday's lesson. That's all I have for you for Lesson 1.1. You supply your best answers for the pre-unit assessment, and let that be. That'll be worth 10 points, and you will start the quarter off with an A+. Congratulations. I will let you go for now. Take care, be well, and I will see you shortly in lesson 1.2. So long for now.